Pacific Nations Cup, game number one, folks. Fiji up against Samoa, and it's Fiji who get the win, 42 points to 16. Now, when you think Fiji and rugby, you don't necessarily think defensive shifts, huge tackle counts, turnovers and whatnot, but that's really what the game was about for them in the first half. And the second half in particular, we saw them with the wins at their back, able to show a bit more of the kind of stereotypical Fijian flair and skill. For Samoa, long kicking game, some high balls, got them a bit of pay, but ultimately failed to kind of crack that ironclad defensive line from Fiji. And then when they got yellow cards, boy did Fiji punish them in that second half. So it looks really great on paper. I mean, they just mentioned in the post-match that was the biggest win over Samoa for Fiji in like 20-odd years. But there's still things to work on. The first half was a bit clunky, into the wind, and the line-out in particular, you feel like is one to work on. But hey, bonus point win for Fiji. Great start to them, for them in this competition. Samoa, at the start of the game, as we're going to go through some key events and stats, were camped down their own end. And it didn't take long for Fiji to punish. Salawa gets his first of 3 tries on 5 minutes. Just Fiji punished them. Couldn't escape Samoa. They couldn't get a good exit. Phases after a scrum. 5-0 with a missed conversion, but the conversion ended up being a drop goal shot because the ball kept falling off the tee. There really was quite a wind, and Caleb Muntz, I think it was the Ken Laban who kept calling him Muntz. I'm pretty sure it's just Muntz. But yeah, he had to take a drop goal shot because the ball kept falling off the tee with the wind. So 5-0, Fiji away, seemingly kind of according to the script because they were pretty heavy favourites for this one. And Samoa kept getting pinged at the breakdown. Fiji want to play the game fast and they want to get some more points on, but it's the only the 5 they get early on. When Samoa finally managed to escape their own half, they managed to get a bit of expansive play going. And when Fiji conceded a penalty, Samoa opted for 3s, and you can see they did that multiple times in this game. Interestingly, in the second half, they would switch that tack, but they wouldn't get any pay from it. So 5-3 is a lot more respectable for Samoa, especially seeing as they've been camped down their own end early. And then they get their first and only try of the game when it was their turn to chuck it around. 16 minutes. Matavao with a nice snipe on the back of a few phases, offload, and it's Leilua who's able to go over for the try on 17 minutes, 10 points to 5. Now the Samoans are in front. Like, they did really well to weather the early storm from Fiji and have actually been getting themselves into the Fijian half, so pretty pleasing from them. And then Muntz kicks it out on the full from the restart for Fiji, so it's going from a great start for Fiji, slowly kind of going downhill. And you could see Mick Byrne in the coach's box looking pretty unhappy. I mean, Samoa at one point even went for a long-range drop goal when they had Fiji seeming on the back foot, which I thought was a little bit, like, I don't know, they could have kept building some phases, but it was also an indication of the fact that Fiji was hard for the Samoan guys to break down. They just wanted to get any points when they were down the Fijian end. Later on, Samoa would kick it on the full, which kind of took the pressure off, but then Samoa would steal Fiji's lineout. And Fiji's lineout, particularly in the first half, was poor. It was really, really poor. They will need to improve as the competition goes on, but obviously prep times haven't been that flash, so the more time these guys get together, one would hope that will improve. Fiji continue to struggle, man. They continue to lose lineouts. They continued to concede penalties to breakdown. Samoa opted for another 3, so they extend their lead to 13-5. But then, kind of against the run of play, Samoa let Fiji back into the game with a just simple dropped high ball. Like Alosio at the back drops a high ball under no pressure, which gives Fiji the territory which they've been starved of for the majority of this first half. Masi with a big carry, like we've seen him do all year for the Fijian Drua, well over the advantage line up the guts. And then it's Karawalevu on debut who gets the next carry, quick ball, and then Masi again, second carry in the space of a few seconds. He's able to bust over the try line, so it brings it back to a 1-point game. Kind of against the run of play, but it is Samoa who leave that door open by just making a basic handling error, which gives Fiji that chance. 34 minutes, Samoa go 15 phases to try and hit back, but Fiji's defense is solid and didn't look like being broken. However, we do stop for a TMO call. Maiana Vanua has got a high shot on D'Angelo Leua, and Luila, I should say, and it's a yellow card. He gets mitigated down to yellow from red because there were 2 men in the tackle, so that's the mitigation, but it is pretty clear shoulder to head. Samoa don't opt for the scrum or the line out to try and take advantage of the extra man. They opt for the 3, which they've been doing all game, 16-12. Back in front, and then they got a man up. What can they do for the remainder of this first half with the man up? Well, not much, because Fiji actually managed to get a penalty of their own to bring it back to that 1-point game at halftime. So 16-15 at halftime, Samoa in front, but they don't score again. So no scoring in the second half for the Samoans once they have to play into the wind. And once Fiji start getting their line out sorted, you feel like they really got themselves in front. Like possession and territory is all Samoa. 57% possession, 57% territory in that first half. Fiji have had 5 handling errors to Samoa's 3. They've had 7 penalties conceded to Samoa's 4. Their line out is at 50% to Samoa's 100 in that first half. And they've had to make 90 tackles to 42. And Samoa's been kicking it well, man. 18 kicks to 11. Their kicking game has been pinging the Fijian guys back. The one thing that's missing from Samoa, you would say, is to replicate that try they got where they actually were able to cut the Fijian defense open. They struggled with that for the rest of the game. They couldn't really generate that kind of real X-factor opportunity. Samoa start the second half with a restart out on the full, which is kind of bad. Then they concede a penalty from the scrum. And then Fiji punished, despite the fact that they're during the yellow card, they get another penalty. So it makes it 18-16. They're in front, and that's 6 points to 3 during the yellow cards. They're winning a yellow card where they are a man down. Samoa on 50 minutes turned down a kickable 3 points, which is an interesting call because up until that point, they'd been quite happy to keep the scoreboard ticking over. But they go for touch, they line up, they maul, phases, advantage, go again, 5 meters out, got to score here. They drop the ball over the line. It's a sweet line-out move, and it's Mau on his debut, I think. Replacement comes on. The try line is in front of him. All he has to do is kind of put it down, but it is a rushed motion to go for the line. He kind of looks like he's trying to flap it down on the line, but he just loses control of it. Dolman is right there, the referee, and Dolman just says, nah, you've lost it. You've not forced it. So if that one is a try, I mean, I'm not saying Samoa wins this game because obviously they got pretty well beaten, but they needed that try. They needed to convert that early second half opportunity into some points. They don't get it. Fiji launch a counter-attack at Teralangi down the right wing. He's got Ravutamanda outside him, but Pisi Leua holds him back, so he ends up getting yellow card for that kind of cynical play, and Fiji punish immediately with 2 tries. So Samoa going from being down one end, potentially about to score, get themselves back in front, to a yellow card, which cost them 2 tries. I mean, not directly 2 tries, but man, away from home, a man down, you don't want to be in that position. So first try, it's a maul. Salawa gets his second. They just shear straight through the Samoan defenders, 25-16. Samoa, to be fair, did go through 13 phases while they had a man down. But again, that Fijian defense is ironclad. Maui gets a penalty at the breakdown from the bench. He's just come on. And that basically leads to the Lomani try after Momo and Ravutamanda have showed some pretty good footballing skills on the counter-attack. So 32-16. 2 tries in the yellow card. Gets worse for Samoa because they get a second yellow card. Tuitama tips Lomani after the whistle's already gone. That's a yellow card for him. Really soft one to be given away. Then Karawalevu scores on debut. Great one for him, the fullback. Just the hands, man, to shift it left. Armstrong Ravula came on pretty late, but his handling looked beautiful. Offload for the try, 37-16. This game is well dead and buried. Then Salawa on 78 minutes gets his hat-trick try. The hands of the Fijians again, proper beautiful. So first half, a lot of it is about that Fijian defensive resolve to hold out when they didn't have that much ball. Second half, when Samoa give them an inkling of opportunity, Fiji punish and punish and punish again. Fiji actually finished edging the possession stats 51-49, so they certainly dominated second half. Tackle count evens out a lot, finishes 123-100, so Fiji still had to make more tackles overall, but had a lot more ball in the second half. Clean breaks is 6-2. That's a Fijian favourable stat. Turnovers conceded 17 by Samoa, 13 by Fiji. So again, that ends up in the wrong end for Samoa. Just second half. Not there, baby. Karawa level, the fullback, 55 metres. Muntz, 20 tackles, which is impressive. Mussy, 3 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks. Not bad from him. Lomani gets man of the match. D'Angelo Luila gets 5 defenders beaten, which is not bad. Slade makes 13 tackles on a defensive shift. But yeah, man, a few too many knock-ons and a bit of a struggle to kind of break that Fijian defensive line. And a lot of kickoffs because they got this rule which they're experimenting with where you can mark it from the restart. Samoa just kept restarting it long. And Fiji would just mark it. It was almost like a freebie just to settle and get a nice exit. I feel like they should have gone for contestable kicks. But anyway, next game of the Pacific Nations Cup is Japan taking on Canada in Canada. Then Samoa next week will take on Tonga. Fiji have got a week off before they face Tonga because these teams are in Pool A. Japan, America, and Canada in the other pool. So, yeah. It is on Rugby Pass for you guys in I think New Zealand, Pacific, maybe Australia territories. I have used the VPN with Rugby Pass before. If you guys haven't used it and you want to jump on, I'll put a link down to Express in the description. That's the one that I've used before. But yeah, for most of you guys, this should be free and on Rugby Pass. So check it out. Here in New Zealand, it was on Sky. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, certainly a good watch. You guys let us know your thoughts and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Talk to you again soon. See you later.